I am pronounced as one-letter alphabet, written in 3 letters with just 2 letters. What body part am I? That's correct, an eye. In this video, we will be looking at the anatomy of an eye and overview. We will also be looking at some of the commonly found diseases in human eye. Our eye is one of the most fascinating and complex part of our body. How much do we really know about them and how they work? We rely on them every single day. Yet, we don't really give much thought about it until something really goes wrong with it. Many believe vision is the most dominant sense for most of the people with sight, isn't it? Before diving into the anatomy of an eye, why don't we look into some of the interesting facts of an eye? The eyeball stays the same size from the birth to death, while your nose and ears continue to grow. Did you know? You actually see with your brain and not with your eye. 80% of learning comes through your eyes. People generally read 25% slower on the screen than on paper. With all the online studies mode, if you are reading in a slower pace, you know why is that happening. Reading in dim light does not damage your eye, but they may tire them out. Your iris has 256 unique characteristics and a fingerprint has 40. The reason why retina scans are increasingly being used for security purposes. Eye is the fastest muscle in human body. Hence, when something happens quickly, we say in the blink of an eye. From next time you know when you say in a blink of an eye. Now, we will be looking at the psychological fact of an eye. Well, the eye tells you if your smile is real or not. To make a person feel comfortable, maintain eye contact for 80% of the conversation. So next time you know how to make a person feel comfortable by having a conversation, look at the eye for 80% of the time. Did you know that? You can actually tell what a person is thinking by the direction of their eye. If the person is starting off the left, it is usually a sign that a person is trying to recall something according to the psychologist's word. And if they are looking to the right, they might be cooking some stories. So, I'm sure you must be interested after learning this. Next time, you can read the eyes. Making an eye contact for a long time is bad. As per the study published by Royal Society Open Sciences, 3.3 seconds is the average time for an eye contact. Beyond that, it becomes awkward. The last interesting psychological fact I would like to put it across, and that is overly persistent eye contact is also a sign of persons over-awareness of the message they are emitting. So, next time when somebody is making an eye contact with you for a long time, you know what it is. I hope you enjoyed learning the interesting facts about an eye. Thank you.
Thank you, Deena, for giving a beautiful introduction of an eye and fun facts. Hi, my name is Bhagi and I'm gonna introduce the basics of an eye structure explained with pictures. And how does the eye look like? The front view of an eye This is my eye, not this. This one is my eye. How does it look like from the front view? And the first one is pupil. This is a sort of hole in the middle of your iris or black dot at the center of the eye is an opening through which light can enter the eye. Size of the pupil decreasing or increasing depending upon the intensity of light entering the eye. Size of the pupil decreasing or increasing depending upon the intensity of light entering the eye. Second is iris. This is the colored part of your eye that controls or regulates the amount of light that enters the eye. Third is cornea. The cornea is the clear layer at the front of your eye, covers the iris and the pupil that transmits and focuses lights into the eye to make sure your eye records clear images. Then fourth one is lens. Lens is located behind the pupil, acts like a camera lens that focuses light rays onto the retina. It can also become thicker or closer objects or thinner for far away objects. To make the pictures as clear as possible, it is made up of a transparent jelly-like substance which is made up of proteins. Fifth is retina. The retina is the sensory membranes laying at the back of your eye. It composes of several layers of cells called photoreceptor. Two types of photoreceptor cells in the human eye, rods or cones. Rods process black and white and cones process color. These cells turn images into electrical impulses that sent to the brain through the optic nerve. Sixth one is optic nerve. The electrical impulses formed by the retina travel along the optic nerve to the brain. Basically, the optic nerve is a path that connects the eye and the brain. 7 is the sclera. The sclera or white part of the eye protects the eyeball. It covers the entire outside of your eyeball except the cornea. 8th one is choroid. The choroid is a vascular layer of the eye laying between the retina and the sclera. It contains blood vessels that nourish the retina. 9th one is vitreous body. Vitreous body is a clear jelly-like substance that fills the space between the lens and the retina. It helps to preserve eye shape. 10th one is macula. The macula is very small area at the center of the retina. Its function is to process sharp, clear, straight ahead vision. Thank you for listening to me. To know more about eye and brain connection, here I would like to invite Abhishek Emmanuel. Over to Abhishek Emmanuel. Thank you.
This is a very beautiful landscape, right? Have you ever wondered how can we see this beautiful scenery? Hi, I'm Emmanuel. As you have seen some basic functions of eye, now we will learn how eye and brain works together. First of all, let's see how can we see light. Our human eye can only see a very small part in any human spectrum. There are 4 important factors. First one is wavelength, the distance between successive crests of a wave in an electromagnetic wave. Second is hue, the color that we experience due to dominant wavelength of light. Third one is brightness. It depends on the intensity of light. The amount of light contains is known as brightness. Saturation. The fewer the number of wavelengths mixed together, the more saturated or pure a color appears. As you can see, light enters through the cornea and passes to the lens, and light rays falls at the retina. When light passes through, they reflect at the back of the eye. Melena observes the light and also prevents scattering of the light. After that, they passes through photoreceptors called cones, which contain a number of 7 million. The main colors are blue, green and red. After that, rods, which contain a number of 120 million. Optic nerve is formed with a bunch of ganglion cells. Next one is visual pathway. Retina is divided into two parts, thermoral hemiretina and nasal hemiretina. All the information of thermoral hemiretina and nasal hemiretina travels through optic nerve and comes to thalamus. In the thalamus divided into 6 parts. Thermoral hemiretina information goes to second, third and fifth, and nasal hemiretina information goes to first, fourth and sixth. After reaching thalamus, the fibers move in two groups. They are called temporal lobe and parental lobe. After reaching that area, these fibers will go to a specific area in the occipital lobe called primary visual cortex. This is the raw data your eyes actually take in, and this is what you see when your brain stitches it all together. Disadvantages of these connections are damaged. There are 6 types of blindnesses. First one is right monocular blindness. Second, bitemporal hemianopia. Third one is binasal hemianopia. And fourth one is left homonymous hemianopia. Fifth, left inferior quadrant hemianopia. Sixth, right superior quadrant hemianopia. Future detection. The ability to detect certain types of stimuli like movements, shapes, angles requires specialized cells in brain called future detectors. There are 3 types of these cells. Simple cells. These cells respond to bars or lines presented in certain orientation. Complex cells respond to moving stimuli such as vertical bar moving from left to right or tilted bar moving from right to left. Hypercomplex cells respond to even more complex features of visual world, including length, width, and even aspects of shapes such as corners and angles. Before wrapping up, let's play a game. See the 4 footballs on the screen. Pick one football and stare directly at it. Don't let your eyes to flicker to any of other footballs. Something strange is happening, right? Is the other footballs fading away? This shows that your brain can be fooled. And thank you for playing. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and thank you.
Hi, I'm Caroline. I'll be talking about 2 topics today. First one is optical illusions. From the moment light hits our eyes and to the point where our brain interprets the image, it takes about 1/10 of a second. This is a big delay when it comes to some images. So to fill this gap, our brain makes predictions about where the objects in the field of our vision will be. Sometimes our brain makes up things all by itself. This is where optical illusion comes in. Look at this picture and stare at the cross in the center. After a few seconds, you will feel that the pink dot is replaced by a green dot. This is because as the dots move in the peripheral, they become blur, and our brain is not focused on processing things outside of our focus point as fast. Now our brain is used to seeing purple dots. As it disappears, when it's gone, Our brain replaces it with purple's complementing color, that is green. Green is the exact opposite of purple. Now, when the purple is gone and it's empty, our brain assumes that it is green and fills it with green. Interesting. Now, let's look at one more optical illusion. In this picture, which square, A or B, do you think is darker? Actually, the boxes are the same color, but our brain interprets as two different colors. This is because of two reasons. First, our brains are trained to recognize patterns. Due to the checkerboard, our brain assumes that they should naturally alternate colors. Second reason is the shadow. In this case, the shadow from the green cylinder. Shadow darkens the color of the image behind it. With these two visual programs in our brain, we are fooled to believe that these two boxes are different colors, whereas they're actually the same color. That was some quick fun facts. Now moving on to my second topic, eye diseases. I'll be covering just the common eye diseases. We will look at these diseases from a different angle. That is, how people with these diseases actually view the world. Nearsightedness or myopia. In this disease, the distance between the cornea and the retina are too long, so the light rays focus in front of the retina instead of on it. So, with nearsightedness, objects look clearer when they are close and blurry when they are far off. This is how a person with nearsightedness sees the world. Farsightedness or hyperopia. This is where the distance between the cornea and the retina are too short, so the light rays focus behind the retina instead of on it. So with farsightedness, distant objects look clearer, but close objects look blurred. This is how a person with farsightedness sees the world. Night blindness or nyctalopia. It's a condition that interferes with the functioning of the rods in our eyes, which makes it difficult to detect light in our eyes. A person with night blindness can see clearly with bright lights, but with low lights, the vision is so weak that it approaches blindness. This is how a person with night blindness sees the world. Color blindness. Have you ever imagined how a colorblind person can actually drive a car through the traffic lights? People who are colorblind see the world in black and white. Colorblindness is the incapability of differentiating colors. There are different types of colorblindness. Some colorblind people can't differentiate shades of red, purple, or green. Few cases actually see the world in black and white. Cataract. When a person has cataract, the lens gets cloudy and it makes the vision blurry. Cataract feels like looking through a dusty glass. Over time, cataract can also make seeing colors harder. Glaucoma. Glaucoma causes vision loss by damaging the optic nerve in the back of your eye. One of the first signs of glaucoma is the loss of the peripheral or side vision. Diabetic retinopathy. Diabetic retinopathy can cause vision loss and blindness with people with diabetes. The spots that look like shadows are floaters. They're of different shapes and sizes and constantly move around. AMD, age-related macular degeneration, causes blurriness or spots in the center of your vision. AMD can also make straight lines look wavy. They have a very hard time reading small details or small prints. Strabismus. When eyes are working correctly, they move together to focus on the same spot. However, if there is a problem with the eye muscle, both eyes may not move together and can end up crossing or drifting apart. This is called strabismus. If the eyes are pointing in different directions, each eye will detect a different image, and the brain may have trouble fusing these two images into one three-dimensional view. This is how a person with strabismus sees the world. These are some of the common eye diseases. With this, I think we understand that even some of the smallest eye disorders can make the world look very different. Next, we have Ritanjali to present some of the rarest eye diseases. Thank you.
Thanks, Caroline. Now let's look at some of the not so common, rare, and the rarest eye conditions. Also, let's look at 7 rare eye colors in the world. The first one is hemolacria. In this, our tears look like blood. It happens due to injuries. Next is vitreous detachment. Vitreous is a gel like substance mostly made of water. The fibers attach the gel to our retina, and in this case, the retina and this fiber gets detached. Now, let's look at eye conditions that can be detected at birth. Anophthalmia and microphthalmia. In this, a person would be born without one or both eyes or unusually small eyes. Next is coloboma, being born without part of an eye or missing a specific area of vision. Now let's look at eye conditions that are genetic. Retinitis pigmentosa. In this, you would see the eyes on the left is normal and eyes on the right has uh, dark spots on the retina. That's what blocks the vision. This is retinoblastoma. In this, it simply means the cancer of retina. Stargardt disease. A person sees black spots in his or her vision. Usher syndrome. In Usher syndrome, there can be partial or a total hearing loss and a vision loss. It worsens over time. Leber hereditary optic neuropathy. This happens mostly in men, and it is the vision. In a period of time, the vision gets blurred. Then we have Batten disease. This is generally seen in kids and infants, in which the nervous system and the retina is damaged, and there is no cure. The doctors are still working on it. Next is Betty's crystalline dystrophy. This one has no cure. What happens in this is the crystal deposits built up on retina and on cornea, generally in children. Now let's see at eye conditions with optic nerve or immune system issues. Optic neuritis. Swelling of this nerve can blur the vision and make the eye movement painful. Doctors are still wondering why this happens. Next is neuromyelitis optica, also known as Divig disease. In this, the optic nerve and the spinal cord both are infected. Idiopathic intracranial hypertension. This happens when there is high pressure around the brain, which causes headaches. Uveitis. It's an autoimmune disease. There's no permanent cure to it. I suffered from this condition in 2000 for 3 years. And after 20 years, there are only 50% treatment chances. Now let's look at some of the rarest eye conditions known. Cat eye syndrome. It's a chromosomal disorder. Human eye looks more like an animal eye. Polychoria. It is like having 2 eyeballs in one eye. Coats disease. It is a rare condition usually affecting just one eye, and it's not a hereditary thing. Pupilla duplex. In this, you can see that in one eyeball you have 2 black eyes. And this is just one of the rarest of the rare conditions. Only one person in the history till date has been recorded, and that one case is in China. Heterochromia. In this, you can see that 2 different eyes have 2 different colors. Alport syndrome. This causes deafness and renal failure. Best disease. No symptoms in early age, affects both the eyes. Now let's look at the 7 rare eye colors. Due to lack of time, I won't get into details, but I'll just read the names. Amber, black, multicolor, silver, green, red, and violet. Lastly, I also want to talk about eye hygiene. Wash your eyes frequently. Wash your eyelids frequently. Also, to do a regular eye checkup once in 6 months or once in a year is extremely important because it through your eyes you can early detect the symptoms of thyroid, diabetes, blood pressure. These symptoms are first in the eye and then in your body. So that's it from me. Over to you, Caroline.
Well, we've seen a lot of information about eyes. We'd like to leave you with a couple of fun eye games. How did you do? Let us know in the group if you were able to finish naming all the colors. Let's look at one last game. What is the number of the parking spot covered by the car? Let us know your answer in the class group. We hope that this video was informative, educational, and fun. Thank you all.